Hello guys, after receiving some feedback from users, the tool has been updated. I think now we can enjoy some new interesting features. For example, now we can plot different variables for the x-axis so that we don't need a different tool for plotting wing settings or rear height or front height. We only need to swap here in order to obtain the rear height graph, and here to obtain the front height graph, so that we can check how our devices are working depending on wing settings or rear height or front height. This is the classic wing settings graph. This is the rear height graph, useful for diffuser calculations. And we can check also our lift depending on front height. And also diffuser is very sensitive to front height. In this case, we can see that the limit for our front height plus calculation is very precise. If we set here 6 centimeters, the calculation is limited to 6 centimeters. That is very simple, 4 centimeters and 4 centimeters. However, let's go to check our front wing lift, which is not so simple. Because it doesn't only depend on lift height plus parameters, it also depends on the center of forces placement. We can see that the maximum height number is different than the limit in the graph. And sometimes this may be somewhat puzzling. You can see here is 10 centimeters, while here is 5 centimeters, 12, 6. Why? Well, this case it's because our front wing is very high. It's natural that if we set the front wing height higher, then it will reach this height more easily. It will reach this height sooner, because this height is not the front right height. This height is the front wing height, which is different, because sometimes the front wing is placed more advanced than the front axle. So we can see how the center of forces changes the lift height calculation. The lower we set the front wing, the more similar is this value to the limit we observe in the graph. It also depends on the rear height, because the higher is the rear height, the lower will be the front wing height. That is calculated mainly on this formula. For example, for these conditions, the front wing is 14 millimeters above the ground. So we must take that in account in order to set the limit. I think the speed of processing hasn't been reduced because of the fact that we have 3 tools in one. We can do random changes. We can see that the speed of processing is reasonably fast, even if we activate all the graphs. We can obtain a result in just fractions of a second. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Happy modding!